It seems you're looking for a complete and comprehensive biography of Erwin Schrödinger. And perhaps the previous responses, while detailed, might not have fully met your definition of complete or full. I will aim to provide an even more exhaustive account, drawing on various aspects of his life and work, to ensure I cover all necessary ground. I will perform a broad search for biographical information. Erwin Rudolf Joseph Alexander Schrödinger, 1887 to 1961, was a towering figure in 20th century physics. An Austrian theoretical physicist whose pioneering work in quantum mechanics fundamentally altered our understanding of the universe at its most fundamental level. His formulation of the Schrödinger equation earned him a shared Nobel Prize in Physics in 1933, and his influence extended far beyond the confines of theoretical physics. Touching on biology and philosophy, early life and intellectual development. Schrödinger was born on August 12, 1887, in Vienna, Austria-Hungary, as the only child of Rudolf Schrödinger and Georgine Amelia Brenda. His father, Rudolf, was a well-educated man with diverse interests, including Italian painting and botany, and owned an oilcloth factory. His mother, Georgine, was of half-English descent, leading to Schrödinger being virtually bilingual in English and German. From a very young age, Schrödinger's early education was primarily conducted at home by private tutors and his father until he was 11. This allowed for a broad and self-directed learning experience. In 1898, he entered the Akademisches Gymnasium in Vienna, where his intellectual versatility became evident. He excelled in scientific subjects, particularly mathematics and physics, but also held a deep appreciation for the logical rigor of ancient grammars and the beauty of German poetry. He disliked rote memorization, preferring to grasp concepts through understanding. From 1906 to 1910, Schrödinger attended the University of Vienna, focusing on theoretical and experimental physics. He was significantly influenced by the lectures of Fritz Hassenhor, who had succeeded Ludwig Boltzmann, a pioneer in statistical mechanics, as the head of theoretical physics. Schrödinger earned his Ph.D. in 1910, his dissertation focusing on electrical conduction, early career, and World War I. After completing his doctorate, Schrödinger fulfilled his voluntary military service, serving as an artillery officer on the Austro-Italian front during World War I. Despite the war, he managed to continue his research, publishing his first paper on quantum theory in 1917. Following the war, Schrödinger embarked on a series of academic appointments. In 1920, he married Annemarie Annie Bertel, who would remain his lifelong companion. His early academic career saw him move frequently: an assistantship in Jena, an extraordinary professorship in Stuttgart, and an ordinary professorship in Breslau. These early years also saw him engage in various research areas, including specific heats of solids, thermodynamics influenced by Boltzmann's probability theory, atomic spectra, and physiological studies of color vision. The Zurich years and the birth of wave mechanics in 1921. Schrödinger accepted the prestigious chair of theoretical physics at the University of Zurich, a position he held for 6 years. This period proved to be the most fruitful and significant of his professional life. It was here that he recuperated from a suspected tuberculosis diagnosis in an alpine sanatorium in Arosa, Switzerland, and it was during this time that he made his most profound breakthrough, building upon Louis de Broglie's 1924 hypothesis that particles of matter could exhibit wave-like properties. Schrödinger, in a remarkable series of 4 papers published in Annalen der Physik in 1926, formulated his groundbreaking Schrödinger equation. This partial differential equation describes the behavior of a physical system in quantum mechanics, depicting how the quantum state represented by a wave function evolves over time. This formulation provided a powerful alternative to Werner Heisenberg's matrix mechanics, and Schrödinger later demonstrated their mathematical equivalence, leading to the unification of quantum theory. The Schrödinger equation fundamentally changed the conceptual framework of physics, enabling the calculation of electron energy levels in atoms and providing a probabilistic description of particle behavior, which was a radical departure from classical deterministic views. Berlin, the Nobel Prize. And political turmoil, 1927. Schrödinger moved to Berlin to succeed Max Planck, the originator of quantum theory at the University of Berlin. Here, he joined an extraordinary intellectual environment, collaborating and engaging in weekly colloquia with luminaries such as Albert Einstein. He was elected to the Berlin Academy of Science at the age of 40, becoming its youngest member. However, the political landscape in Germany began to darken with the rise of Nazism, deeply disturbed by the persecution of Jewish intellectuals and the policies of the Nazi regime. Schrödinger, despite being Catholic, decided he could not remain in Germany. He left Berlin in 1933, the same year he was awarded the Nobel Prize in Physics. He shared the prize with Paul A.M. Dirac for the discovery of new, productive forms of atomic theory. Exile and the Dublin years. Schrödinger's departure from Germany marked the beginning of a period of professional and personal upheaval. He accepted a fellowship at Oxford University in England, but his tenure there was not entirely successful. While he published influential papers, including one where he coined the term quantum entanglement in 1935, he found the academic environment less stimulating and his unconventional personal arrangements living with his wife, Keene, and another woman, Hilde March, with whom he had a daughter, Ruth, posed difficulties. He declined an offer from Princeton University due to similar concerns about his domestic situation. A brief return to Austria in 1936, where he took up a position at the University of Graz, proved ill-advised. With the annexation of Austria by Nazi Germany in 1938, Schrödinger found himself in immediate difficulty due to his previous opposition to the regime. In a desperate and later regretted act, he published a letter expressing support for the Nazis, an action he later admitted was cowardly to Einstein. Despite this, he was dismissed from his post and managed to escape to Italy, then briefly to Oxford and Ghent in 1940. A turning point came when Eamon de Valera, the Irish Prime Minister and a former mathematician, invited Schrödinger to become the director of the School for Theoretical Physics at the newly established Institute for Advanced Studies in Dublin. Schrödinger found a stable and productive home in Dublin, remaining there for 15 years. This period was personally fulfilling for him, and he affectionately referred to it as a very, very beautiful time. He became an Irish citizen in 1948, while retaining his Austrian nationality, philosophical interests, and what is life. Beyond his continuing work in quantum theory, general relativity, and statistical mechanics, Schrödinger's broad intellectual curiosity led him to explore philosophical and biological questions. In 1944, he published the highly influential book, What is Life?, based on a series of lectures he delivered. In this work, he explored how quantum physics could explain the stability of genetic structures, influencing the early work of molecular biologists like James Watson and Francis Crick, who later discovered the structure of DNA. Schrödinger also held a deep interest in ancient Greek science and philosophy, which he explored in his book Nature and the Greeks, 1954. He was also profoundly influenced by the Upanishads and other Eastern philosophical traditions, particularly the concept of a unified consciousness. He explored these ideas in his final book, My View of the World, 1961, and his epitaph reflects his belief in the unity of being. He also famously devised the Schrödinger's cat thought experiment in 1935, which he intended to highlight the paradoxical implications of quantum superposition and to criticize the prevailing Copenhagen interpretation of quantum mechanics, later years, and legacy in 1956. After Austria regained its neutrality, Schrödinger retired from the Dublin Institute for Advanced Studies and returned to his native Vienna, accepting an honored position as Professor Emeritus at the University of Vienna. Erwin Schrödinger died on January 4, 1961, in Vienna, at the age of 73, after a long illness. He was buried in Altbach, Tyrol. Schrödinger's legacy is immense. His wave equation remains a cornerstone of modern physics, chemistry, and material science, used to predict the behavior of electrons in various systems. His "What is Life?" sparked the imagination of a generation of biologists. His philosophical inquiries challenged fundamental assumptions about reality and consciousness, solidifying his position not just as a brilliant physicist, but as a profound and multifaceted thinker